Grab your tissues and grab your friends because this is the last snake bite of the year. We have a ton to cover this week, so let's roll that intro. And one team that was shedding tears was the men's track team, and they were shedding tears of joy because they are the best team on campus because they won the SSC championships this past weekend without a single sprinter, thanks to Christian, the SSC killer, Giller's dominance in the 10K and 5K, doubling over the 1 day of competition and leaving zero doubts who was the top dog in the SSC. Giller's 2 first-place finishes accounted for 20 of the Mocs' 111 points. In the 10K, the Mocs started the meet off with a sweep, finding the top 3 spots, but it didn't end there as the Mocs finished 1 through 4 in the order of Giller, Dylan Bailey, Cole Summers, 𝙏𝙃𝙀, with Will Canales also finding 7th, scoring the Mocs 31 points in the opening event and giving them a huge lead. The Mocs then continued to battle, picking up another top 4 finish in the steeplechase, as well with 𝙏𝙃𝙀 𝙏𝙃𝙀 leading the way, with Caleb Brady, Dylan Manti, and Tyler Gaines rounding out the top 4. Cameron Rainey placed 7th, adding another 31 for the Mocs. With their massive lead going into the afternoon, the Mocs went all in. Anthony Matthew ran the 1500 placing 2nd, 800 placing 4th, and anchored the 7th placed 4x4 with multiple Mocs doubling back in the 5K that ultimately won the meet, with Giller taking it from the jump and dominating, soloing a 14:37, no pacers needed. Behind him in 3rd was 𝙏𝙃𝙀 𝙏𝙃𝙀 again, with Zupa, Christopher Colavita, and Aiden Redmond going 3, 4, 5, and 6 to secure the 111 points and dub for the Mocs, who competed in the half of the overall events and remained the lone team to reach 100 points because of their distance dominance. I said it last week, and I'll say it again. This is the greatest track team in school history, and I'll add this, the best distance team ever in SSC history. They're not done yet either. Giller and Matthew will continue to chase a secured spot in the national championships as individuals in the coming weeks.
The number 3 ranked women's lacrosse team added to their win streak against the number 21 ranked Florida Tech Panthers this past week. In the matchup, SSC Offensive Player of the Week, Abby McPherson, continued to show her dominance, scoring 8 goals along with 3 assists in the Mocs' 22-10 victory. On the defensive side, Sunshine State Conference and IWLCA National Defensive Player of the Week, Maria Reeves won 21 draw controls in the matchup to break her recently set school record again. Reeves now holds the record for most draw controls in the season with a total of 169 in the 2025 season, a record that has stood since 2017, and the postseason hasn't even started. Along with McPherson, Jenna Vetter and Gianna Murphy contributed to the goals, with Vetter scoring 4 and Murphy with 3. The dominant win was defined by the second half, where the Mocs outscored the Panthers 12-3 and the 22-10 win to secure a 16-1 record, a 3-way tie for co-SSC regular season champs, the number 2 seed in the SSC tournament, a first-round SSC tournament bye, and another matchup versus number 4 Emory-Riddle at Barron Field Thursday at 5. And as you can tell, they've already accomplished a lot, but there's a lot of season left for them. Stay posted to fscmocs.com for me. You won't want to miss anything.
The men's golf team found their first SSC championship in 15 years. For their 17th SSC crown in program history, interim head coach Brian Ritchie helped lead the Mocs to win in his first SSC champs as a head coach. And Coach Ritchie may need a lifetime deal after this. Last time he was on the staff, the Mocs won the SSC in 2010 and the national championship, something he led last before that 2010 season as a player in 2008. Going back to this year, though, Florida Southern was the only team in the entire competition to finish below par and were led by Freddie Parlby in a legacy performance to finish 3rd overall at 1 under for him as an individual, with Max Burrell and Tyler Mistretta close behind at 1 over, tied for 4th. Colton Swartz was the last Moc in the top 10 at 10th overall, and the Mocs will wait for their invitation to the NCAA Southeast Regional, where they'll look to keep the ball rolling and stay on par to make the national championships.
The beach volleyball team's season came to a close this past weekend at the AVCA College Beach Championships, with the Mocs starting the three-day competition off against Southwest Baptist, where the Mocs bounced back from the SSC championships, sweeping them 3-0. The Sandy Mocs came back down to earth in their second and third matchups of the competition as they were swept by Texas A&M, University Kingsville, and Colorado Mesa. After some time to regroup, they battled Vanguard in a close 3-2 loss to close the second day of competition. With 1 day left in the competition, the Mocs looked golden in the silver bracket as they went undefeated, defeating St. Leo and Carson Newman 3-1 before sweeping Vanguard to be crowned the silver bracket champions. The Sandy Mocs closed the tournament with a 4-3 overall record and the season record of 24-13, with hopes to continue to battle in the SSC in a newly instituted conference championships.
The women's track team had a good close to the season at the SSC championships that kicked off with Maya Stam finishing third in the 10K, with Ellie Fluman following in fifth and Emma Pfeiffer coming in seventh. The Mocs then looked to Rachel Hockenberry to compete in the 3K, where she found a PR in fourth place finish. The most notable race for the Mocs was the 5K, where Emma Moose Musante claimed second overall, with Ellie Fluman finishing in sixth in her final race of her collegiate career. The Mocs finished fifth overall to close the majority of the team's outdoor season, with a select few continuing to compete, including Musante, who will chase a national qualifying time in the 10K distance.
Both tennis teams picked up wins against SSC opponents this past week, with the number 18 women's tennis team defeating Rollins 4-3 to close the regular season. The Mocs, who are led by number 8 nationally ranked Olivia Bryant, will head to the SSC tournament, where they'll take on number 5 seed Lynn, who defeated the Mocs 4-3 earlier this season. The number 11 men's tennis team found similar success, sweeping Palm Beach Atlantic 7-0 to close the regular season, and will take on Lynn in the SSC tournament on the 25th, a team they beat 4-3 earlier this year. Both teams will look to battle in the best Division II tennis conference. You know where to go to see the action, fscmocs.com.
The number 6 baseball team found themselves in unfamiliar territory this past weekend as they went on the road to take on Lynn University. To tell y'all straight, the Mocs got swept, and it wasn't pretty. They lost all 3 games by a combined 26 runs. This is their first time all season losing a series since traveling to Carson Newman in early March, and it is their first time all season getting swept since last year. The baseball team will try to prove that the past week was a fluke as they head to travel to Nova Southeastern this weekend to bounce back.
Number 22 women's golf team competed at the SSC championships last week. After the 3 days of play, the Mocs finished in fifth with 2 top 15 finishes. Claire Gimple led the way, finishing tied for 10th overall at 9 over, followed by Ava LaBelle, who finished tied for 12th at 10 over after a strong final day. The Mocs will be hoping for a selection to the South Regional to continue their season.
And the Diamond was not friendly for the softball team either, as they had another tough showing this past week in their 3-game series versus the Lynn Fighting Knights, who handled the Mocs with strong pitching and hitting. The Mocs fell in the first game because of major hitting from a handful of Fighting Knights. Despite a late comeback attempt to close the game, the Mocs fell 7-4. Over the doubleheader, the Mocs found strong pitching, but just not enough hits, as they lost the first one 3-0 and the second 3-2. And both Kayla Hickey-Deal dishing out 5 strikeouts in the 3-0 loss before starting some of the final game of the series, with Luhrmann coming in relief and continuing that strong showing, holding the Fighting Knights to just 1 earned run in the entire game. But the Mocs' 7th inning comeback attempt fell just short. After scoring 2 early runs, the Mocs found 3 straight outs to fall 3-2 in the loss. 1 series remains for the Mocs to close out on a high note, as they will take on Nova Southeastern Friday at 7 and Saturday at 1 and 3 p.m. The games will be streamed on the SSC Digital Network.
And the men's lacrosse team had their hands full as they closed out their season against the number 1 University of Tampa Spartans. The Mocs battled the whole game before falling in overtime 11-10. But Florida Southern's offense exploded in the fourth, scoring 6 unanswered goals to force overtime over the top team in the country. Jacob Chiz, the SSC Defensive Player of the Week, was the glue that kept the comeback efforts together late as he dominated in the face-off circle to try to will the Mocs to the victory. But the momentum didn't carry to overtime as Tampa secured the final goal to secure the win, bringing the Mocs seasons to a close.
And that will not be it for this week's edition of the Snakebite. We wanted to end this year talking about some of our favorite moments of the entire school year, mostly about this spring semester, I think for both of us, because I think you're talking about baseball. I'll be talking about, you guessed it, the track team. So for me, I have to go with my favorite time all year, that track championship. If you don't follow track, you don't understand how big of a win that was for this Moxon team. In most track meets, if you just have a distance side, you're lucky if you get top 5. There were 8 teams in the conference, and the Mocs scored all almost all 111 of those points strictly off of distance events, and it wasn't just because they had Christian Giller at the top. They had the deepest group in the entire SSC in any event pool. Being able to sweep just one event is one big deal. We saw a number of teams do that, but the Mocs were able to do it in multiple events with the same runners going across them, not only showing the strength of the team, but also the depth and buy-in to be able to do that. Competing at that high of a level and with that type of dominance is not something you see often, and I'm very excited to be a part of that again next year, as we have all but one of the top 3 finishers for the Mocs returning. The one who's not returning is 𝙏𝙃𝙀 𝙎𝙉𝘼𝙆𝙀, the graduate student, but we still have Anthony Matthew next year, still have Christian Giller, Christopher Colavita, Eli Zupa. A lot of the top guys will be back, but Gavin, I'll dish it over to you.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to watch. And just the resurgence of baseball over this past year. I mean, taking down Tampa and breaking a losing streak that's been going on for a couple years now. So to see that and to see how their playoff run is going to go is going to be really exciting.
Yeah, and there's a ton to be excited about going into this next year of Mocs and athletics. For the remainder of it, you heard us talk about lacrosse is still rolling on the women's side, and track, obviously, we're still trying to run it up. Tennis, we'll be looking to take care of business as well. A lot of interesting developments will happen this summer. We'll try our best to cover those as best as we can. Basketball will be very interesting next year. Soccer, there'll be some retooling as well, so make sure to stay tuned to the Snakebite. See you then.